Mind family. If you happen to stumble upon this, hey, thank you so much again for tracking with us, especially during this time of staying home, staying safe, staying healthy. And I hope that each one of you are, and for those of you who are maybe hurting a little bit or have been experiencing symptoms or have had to uh, deal with the coronavirus, COVID-19. Or know somebody that you're tracking along with that you're praying for that maybe they're experiencing the hurts of it right now. Man, I just want to let you know that I'm praying for you. And if there's anything that I can do to help you out, please do not hesitate to shoot me a message on Facebook or text me if you have my number. Send me an email, whatever you need to do. Call, chat. I know that I'm thinking of you and I'm praying for you, and I know that we all are being touched by this in one way or another. And some of us are experiencing harder hardships, more difficult hardships than others. And so, man, I just want to let you know that you are not alone. You are not alone. We're here with you. And me personally, I'm here with you. I want to be with you. I desire to be with you. And so if you need somebody to walk with you, just know that I'd love to be a shoulder to cry on, to be a sounding board to yell at, to be somebody to chat with. And we'll do whatever we can during that time. All right. And so I just wanted to get that out of the way, make sure that we said that. The next thing I want to do is just remind you, hey, we've been over the last few days, been walking through some of the events of Holy Week or Passion Week or whatever your tradition has taught you or programmed you to call this week leading up to Easter, right? And I know that as families, we're going to be celebrating at home as individual units. As the church, we're going to be scattered throughout our community, throughout our country, throughout our world, and we won't be in our larger gatherings like we usually are. And so that's going to be a little bit different for all of us. But it doesn't change the fact that during this week, some 2,000 years ago, Jesus walked into Jerusalem. The King of Kings, Israel's king, had come to earth. The promise that God had sent of a Messiah, of a Savior, had come. The perfect Lamb had come. The High Priest had come, and he has been marching into Jerusalem every day for the last week. Right? Yesterday we don't have him moving in, but if you remember, there was this transition of people coming and laying down palm branches and putting in their cloaks down and those kinds of things. And you could read about the events from Thursday here. I'm going to post them on here. Hopefully they're on the link as well. And on Tuesday, there were some conversations that Jesus had, and he talked with the Pharisees, and he talked with his disciples, and he shared things like it's more important for you to watch out for your neighbors, to feed the hungry, to feed those who are hungry, to give water to those who are thirsty, to visit those who are in jail. And right, I think that's an important message. Excuse me. An important message for us today, that we need to be doing those things. Those things are more important to God than maybe some of the other practices that we do. On Wednesday, there was that decision that we said we made, either a woman who poured out everything she had onto Jesus, right, a day's wages, or Judas, a follower of Jesus who traded in the teacher, the king, so that he could have security and comfort of what he knew, or what wasn't different, right? And it's amazing that during this time there was this idea that there was going to be this change, this revealing of something new, right? And I don't think it's really this newness. It's this next phase in what God is doing with His creation, and how He's bringing back His people from freedom, from shackles, whether it was a government that sat over the top of them, whether it was a yoke of legalism that had been placed on their shoulders that they were just being squished from. God was doing something special here. And on this Thursday, right? And so you might call it Holy Thursday, Mighty Thursday. I don't know what you normally call it. You might just call it Thursday. but many of us know that this is the day that Jesus participates in what many of us call the Last Supper. Right? It's a Passover meal. And again, I have it linked on there. Hopefully you can see it, the passages for this day. And it should be showing up also in your description on the title above here as well. But right, this Holy Thursday, we have this day where there are a lot of events, and I hope that you read through that today. Maybe later on after this, you take those passages and read them with your family, or maybe you're watching this later and it's not live, and you just hit pause and then watch it, come back to it afterwards. But in this day, right, Jesus has his disciples, his followers, his friends, go and prepare a room that they're going to participate in the Passover meal together, and it's really, really cool because it's what they've always done. But more than that, it reminds them of what God has done for them. Right? The Passover meal was this reminder that God had moved a people, his people, that he said, I will call you my people and bring you into a land of your own. And when they were enslaved, God freed them. This was that reminder that they were God's people. It ought to remind them of the time that they spent in the desert when God provided food for them. It ought to remind them that there was a Messiah that was coming, and Jesus sits down and has that meal with them. But before he even sits down, it seems that there's this confusion as to what it really means to be a follower of Jesus. And it's displayed in nobody washing each other's feet, nobody taking on that role. And so Jesus, right? Remember, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the high priest, the perfect lamb, the Messiah, God himself walking on earth, washes the feet of his disciples. It's as if this kingdom, this new kingdom, right? And if you don't know, when a new king walks into his castle, when he sits down on his throne, he begins to initiate his way of life. And the expectation is that those who would follow after him, those who would be his subjects, would walk in the same way that he did. They would have the same attitude that he has, would do the same things that he did. And Jesus is displaying that right here. Right, and it's the same thing that he displayed throughout his ministry on earth. Right, the greatest would become the least of these. The fact that he said, "I came to seek and save the lost." That he said that it's not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. That he was flipping the whole world on his head with this new kingdom that would live differently than anybody else lived, and Jesus sits down at the Last Supper, right? This Passover meal, a meal that was to remind them of what God had done, but also to point them to what he was going to do. It was a hope of a restoration of a Messiah. In that Passover meal, they had a hope of a Messiah that would come and deliver them. And here he was. Here he was. That perfect lamb, right? The Messiah, the King, the one who had actually brought them out of slavery, was sitting there with them, and he washes their feet. And here's my question. Right, as we begin to think about that and equate it to where we are today, at least for me, right? And again, I said this on Monday, that most of this is going to be this is what is hitting on Conrad. This is what I'm thinking about as I read these things and try to make them best apply or fit to my life and my situation. Is I know that there's a lot of changes here, and there's a lot of turmoil, and there's a lot of people who are having these questions why. Right? And we might be able to look back, and I hope that today, that you look back and look at all the ways that God has moved you, all the way at times that God has protected you, provided for you, maybe for somebody else, and realize that even the nation of Israel, as God protected and provided and moved, they didn't always have the easiest of life, right? And so I don't want us to think that God protecting, providing for us means that we're going to have an easy life, that there's still brokenness around us. But even in the midst of it, God says, I can deliver you through that. I can deliver you from that, and I can move you so that you can live in the midst of it and still have a peace, right? There's a peace in this kingdom of God that begins to exist amongst its followers. And so Jesus begins displaying that throughout his ministry and even through this day and today for us, for me. As I talk with my friends and I talk with my family, and even I experience it with my own family, that those questions of what's going to happen if, right? And there's a lot of them. If we don't get back to work soon, if schools don't open back up, if we don't get to meet again in the building, what's going to happen if? And for us, for my family, we're going to remember what he's done. And how appropriate that on this day, at this time, we have a model of Jesus participating in a meal that helps them remember how God had protected and provided and moved them before. But also a looking forward to what is to come. Right? In the Gospel of John, John tells us that on this night, Jesus says, I have to leave, but I'm leaving so that I can prepare a place for you. Right? There's a better place that is coming. That there's a betterness that is coming. And I think that betterness is both here and now and a later. There is a betterness coming. There is a betterness that we'll get to see it before the other side of death or eternity. And there's a betterness that we'll get to see even here. If we follow the King to his throne, if we put our hope and our dependence and all of our faith and security into him. And so Jesus tells them, hey, follow me. And he says this in the midst of this meal where he takes bread and he breaks it. He says, this is my body. Take and eat. Where he takes a cup and he says, this is a cup of my blood, my new covenant, a new covenant poured out for you. Take and drink. This is something new. You're having to choose. Either stay where you're at or accept the fact that if you put your weight or you put your faith on me, I'll take the weight from you. I'll take your worries. I'll take your concerns. I won't say that there's not going to be any problems. Right? We're going to see over the next 2 days that Jesus walks straight into problems that many of us would hope that he would take away from us. He walks straight into it, but he's able to walk through it. We're going to find that out as well, that he walks through it. So maybe what we need to do is remember and then refocus. Refocus towards that, what is going to happen. What does it look like? And so maybe today's the day for us to dream. What does it look like when stay-home order ceases? What does it look like when we get to actually have a less than 6 foot conversation with our neighbors? What's going to happen when we get to gather back together at our job sites or at our gyms or at our church building? Are we going to take it for granted, or are we going to begin to really love each other, right? Because that's what else Jesus says on this night to his disciples. He says, now I'm giving you a new command. Love one another as I have loved you. Get it, wash each other's feet. Take care of one another. When somebody's hurting, pick them up. When somebody needs help, help them. Jesus says, do what I have done for you to each other now. And so for those of us in the church, we have a ultimate command right here to love each other. And so how do we do that? Well, one way that we've been doing at Whole Christian Church, right? I'm high-fiving you right in the screen, is we've been passing on this high five. We've been asking you, reach out to 5 people from the church this week. Reach out to them and let them know that you're thinking of them, that you're caring, that you care about them, and see if you can help. Another way is, and I love it. In my street here, there's a few houses, and we've been kind of just saying, hey, if somebody's got to go to work or if they're got to go to the store, let's cut down on the amount of people that are out, and let's help each other out and pick each other's whatever they need up. And it's been wonderful. But you know, it's what really been more wonderful? That is from across the street and into different yards, we've been building relationships that over the last couple of years have kind of been nothing more than waving at each other. But now we have conversations. What is it going to look like when that ends? Right? And I'm going to begin living that out today. I hope that you are going to join me with that. Because the other option is to be like Jesus said to Judas, what you're going to do, go do. He says, you're going to deny me. You're going to walk away. You're going to turn me over. Why? Because you're going to have more faith in the things of this world than you are with me. And so, friends, family, man, let me maybe speak a word of encouragement to you that we're celebrating a special time, and it's not going to end in despair. especially for those of us who know Jesus, who are going to follow after him. And so today, hug your kids, hug your wife, hug those that are in the house with you that you're able to hug, and know that you're not alone. Right? And so if you need help, reach out to us. If you have means, we want to partner with you. And so we're going to ask you to partner with us. And we're going to be sharing more ways that we're able to do that. But we want to be the church that knows that today we're remembering what God has done, and we're looking forward to what he's going to do. And I think for me, that's the lesson that I'm learning today. And I hope that you're learning it as well. Hey, God bless. Hey, real quick again, reminder, Sunday we will be having our Easter services at 10 a.m. We're going to live stream those, and we're looking forward to sharing with you. And then later on in that afternoon, you're going to be seeing some stuff on Facebook a little bit later this evening. And in your emails, we will be having an Easter Jam family event in the afternoon. I can't remember what time that's going to go live. So just follow Facebook and you'll see. But there'll be a video that you'll be able to follow along with your family, do some activities. You'll need a few things: Peeps or marshmallows. And you may already have those: Peeps or marshmallows, toothpicks, socks, and a laundry basket. All right. Hey, I love you guys. I can't wait till we get to see each other and touch each other and physically high five each other. But until then, high five a few of your friends and your family. All right. God bless you. I love you. I'll talk to you later.